Okay, here's a vq35de, non-revup. I'm going to show you how to set the timing chains. So I did all three. So for these inner chains that go between the exhaust and intake gears, first of all, these gears here on both sides are the same, and same as the intake gears. Okay, so on the passenger side, the chain is going to line up with these two dimples or dots, punches, and on the driver's side, it's going to line up with the oval circles for the two colored marks on the chain. So also, if you look at the intake side, so when you turn the cam, you put a 24mm wrench on the wrench part of the cam. You can turn the cams to where both intake sprockets have the little nub sticking directly upwards with this line right here. See? On both sides. Okay? And then you're going to want to turn the so you can see here, see how this dot is facing upwards, like this dot is also facing upwards? Well, it's going to be parallel with this here. But if you want to be more certain, if you look inside that casting right there, you see that little nub like behind the inner chain? That's a piece of the inner timing cover that's machined as a mark, and it actually lines up with this perfectly. And if you want to be even more sure than that, there is a colored link on the inner chain, and that is, see that machined dot right there on the inner gear? Like right there. That machined dot right there is going to line up with that colored mark on the sprocket, on the inner part of the sprocket. Also, on the back side of these intake gears, there's also a dot. So if you line these two up and then use some common sense and flip the gear, you'll see that there is a dot for it to line up with. Okay? So that's how you set these. And then you're going to want to set these to where there's going to be two holes, one right here and one right here, on the camshaft itself. You're going to want to set it to where the smaller hole is on top and the bigger holes on the bottom. Just in the orientation to where this will fit into the cam. But you can set that by turning, like I said, those hexes right there on top of the cam. For this outer chain, what you want to do is first, you can put on the water pump, you can put on this guide, you can put this sprocket on, what you want to do, and you can put this guide on. What you want to do is leave the upper chain guide off, and you're going to want to leave the tensioner off, okay? That will give you enough slack. And so if you look here, that line right there lines up with the crank, losing my Woodruff key area or whatever. It's machined Woodruff key or whatever. And then you're going to have a dot on the crank gear. It's going to line up with your colored mark. And that's going to be facing at about 5 o'clock or so. Okay, and then you can route the chain. Okay, so this upper chain guide is gonna slide on. You want to make sure that the chain guide has, it's like a U shape like this. It's gonna go around the chain like that. So slide it in like this to make sure it's fully on, and then you can zip that down, and then to get the slack off of the chain, you're going to want to push up on here with your left hand or whatever, and then position this tensioner in place, and then pull the pin on the tensioner. But yeah, so there are marks on the upper gears as well. So as long as these dots line up here, here, and here, and you're straight, that should line up with that. This should line up with that. This should line up with that. As you can see, it's a little off because there's tension on here, but and then yeah, so pretty much that's how to set the timing chain.